Welcome to the Whole Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you become a fat burner, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the holistic method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey guys, it's Debbie, the host of the Whole Athlete Podcast, and today I have a new guest on the show once again that is also in the fitness industry and transformation industry and podcaster. So I'm excited to bring Mr. Adam on the show today, talk about his million-pound mission. He has a boot camp and a podcast trying to help 1 million people lose weight, or 1 million pounds rather. So Adam's story, he was a previously heavy dude and he is on a 1 million pound mission. A few years back, he looked at the scale and he weighed 327 pounds. So he set a goal to lose 100 pounds, which he did. Then he opened up his own fitness studio and took what he learned and applied it to his hometown clients through unique weight loss, exercise, and nutrition program and protocols. His hometown lost 35,000 pounds in over a 5-year time span. Now he's on a 1 million pound mission with the goal of inspiring people as yourself and trying to get everyone healthy and get control of nutrition, fitness, health, and other lifestyle factors. His goal is to produce over 1 million pounds of transformation results through his free podcast, blog, and online courses and coaching. So I'm excited to have his energy on my show today, talk about how we can improve that transformation process and how we can keep educated and motivated, because I find working with clients myself is accountability. And being consistent is really important. And working as a team with other clients or your family, spouse, it helps to have a team of people that are going to support each other and follow a similar program. Though, granted, we talk on this show all the time that everyone's body is different. So we want to make sure what you eat is different than what I need. So as we talk a lot about gut biome and blood sugar balance and different stressors, that we eat real food in the right ratios. It gives us energy, makes us feel full and satisfied. So let's talk to Adam about his story and how we can work together to help people lose weight and get healthy from the inside out.
All right, cool.
Hey everyone, I have Adam Schaeuble on the show today. He's the host of the 1 Million Pound Mission podcast, blog, and transformation program. And I'm excited to have his energy on my show today, as I was on his show a couple months ago, and he has got some great energy to share with you. So thanks for coming on, Adam.
Yeah, Debbie, I'm fired up. This is, it's always considered it an honor to be able to come on somebody else's show. I know it's a big deal for you to share your platform with me. And you delivered massive value to my audience. I feel the pressure, Debbie. I'm like, I got to bring it. So double energy for your audience.
Yeah, no, well, I said a little intro before we came on and brought you on the show, but just tell kind of what your story is. What's your why, your drive, and you're so much energy and passion. So what brings that to doing this 1 million pound mission?
Yeah. So my journey started about 12 years ago, and you'll notice I'm wearing my PhD hat now. So I refer to myself as the PhD, which I don't have a PhD. I'm the PhD because I'm a previously heavy dude. So at my heaviest, I weighed 327 pounds, and I was broke. I was $40,000 in credit card debt. My career path wasn't going the way that I wanted. My life wasn't going the way that I wanted. None of my relationships were going the way that I wanted. I was at rock bottom. Like, that was me in that moment. I'm in the grocery store with a grocery cart full of unhealthy things, not enough money to even pay for it on my credit card. And that day, I made a decision to change my life, and I ended up doing that. And we can kind of dive into the specifics on that. But I ended up over a 5-year span making a decision where I lost 100 pounds. I, found love, got married, started a family. I started a business. I started helping other people lose weight. I helped my hometown lose 35,000 pounds in 5 years.
Yeah.
And then we launched the Million Pound Mission podcast, where I'm trying to impact people and actually build towards this goal. And I know weight loss isn't sexy, and we don't drive like, you got to lose weight. You should lose 100 pounds. It's more about, what do we need to do to get healthy, where that kind of springboard effect is some healthy weight loss. And that's what we really focus on.
That's great, because we talked on your show that, we have a lot of similar drive and what we're looking at doing in the future. And I always find, it just throws people off when you say you're doing like my 5-day jumpstart challenge or my 30-day online coaching program with clients, that it's just one part of it is nutrition. There's so many lifestyle factors. If you listen to a podcast, you hear it all the time, intermittent fasting, time restricted eating, sleeping, wearing your blue blocking glasses. And there's just all these lifestyle factors that really are about transformation, your lifestyle habits to get your body to burn fat, optimize health, improve performance. So what have you found, what are your top ways you found that work well to get people to lose weight?
Well, I think you nailed it, Debbie. There's so much out there, right? And we get confused, and we as fitness professionals get confused, and we get overwhelmed with it. And I actually did an episode on my show about preventing fitness podcast overwhelm, because I have all these people that are like, I listen to this show and they say intermittent fasting, and then this other show says, don't do intermittent fasting. So I quit doing intermittent fasting, and then I joined Weight Watchers, and then the other show says, don't do it's all this back and forth. And we're all getting really, really good at proving our points, which is making it more confusing for the people listening in. So I like to look kind of a level, what I call thinking outside, not outside of the box, but thinking outside of the toolbox. Mm-hmm. So I look at nutrition regimens and exercise regimens like tools in a toolbox.
Yeah.
And the key is we want to use the right tool for the right job. So I'm not you have to do paleo guy, or you have to do Weight Watchers guy, or you have to do CrossFit guy. It's, let's look at your life. Let's apply the right tool for the right job. Yeah. And that's the first step to getting some momentum going. But then, I don't know about you, Debbie, but I'm one of those guys that I have young children, and whenever I try, they bring home the toys and there's 3 easy steps, and it ends up being 17 steps within the 3 easy steps. But if there's no instruction manual, I can't figure out what I'm building. I can't figure out how to get there. So people have those goals and they hammer away and they think, oh, I've got to do paleo, and if I don't do that, then epic fail. But that, now we know, is just a tool in the toolbox. Yeah. We need an instruction manual. Mm-hmm. All right. We need the directions on how do we actually put this action into place and channel it in the right direction, so we can actually build what we're trying to build, which that could be a healthier body. That could be running triathlons. That could be, losing weight. That could be getting married. But we have to think a level above that toolbox and quit being so obsessed with paleo has to work. If it doesn't, then that's it. It's my last chance. It's that's like saying, if this screwdriver doesn't pound this nail on this board, then, what am I going to do? Woe is me. It's you just need a different tool sometimes. So that's kind of the first thing that I try to get people to do is think a level above all the diets, all the exercise regimens, and say, all right, let's quit worrying about whether we're on plan or off plan. Do you have a plan? That's the key thing. So that's kind of where I kick things off.
So individualized plan, as I keep saying, I think every episode, to stress that is one, not one size fits all. And in nutritional therapy, the goal is to balance your blood sugar. So whatever real food, we all agree on eating real food, every food plan, paleo, primal paleo, low carb, high fat, keto, it's all about balancing your blood sugar. So what that works for you is going to be different for everybody. And, we get into the gut biome and what foods that you should eat or not eat, and food sensitivities and leaky gut. I mean, there's so much more to it to figure out what to eat, but how you eat it and how you digest and absorb your food is so important. So it is so individualized. And I'm getting into genetic testing, learning from DNA Fit coaching program. And it's fascinating,
Nice.
Take that information. It's, people, the research isn't all there, but I think, at least take some of it and apply it to clients when you're designing individualized programs for them. So you're right on that, it is taking that tool, figure out which tool works for you might be different for someone else. And I think it is overwhelming in the beginning when I work with people. It's like, all right, let's figure out what works. And then it's like, wait a minute, maybe you just need an afternoon walk outside, or maybe you just need to do more, different routine at nighttime. But yeah, it's kind of fun though. And, learning, working with each person, what works for them.
Yeah. And to kind of start honing in, because I know people are listening, well, how do I figure out where I should start, or how do I figure out, the next good decision to make? So I like looking at it like a bullseye. So the outer ring of the bullseye, I love working within a 28-day plan. Like that's my jam, because I feel like, especially when I'm helping people with weight loss, a transformation journey that includes, a decent amount of weight to lose, it's like looking up at a mountain, Debbie, like, oh my God, look how high that mountain is. If we look at that end goal, but we say, okay, what's the next 28 days look like? Let's just focus on what we're doing with our nutrition, what we're doing with our exercise, what are we consuming, when are we sweating, when are we meal prepping, where are the danger zones at, Debbie? That's like the thing that, what could potentially throw us off track? Is it that work outing? Is it that birthday party? Is it, ladies' night, wine weekend, or whatever, whatever normally throws us out of whack, and we quit doing what we know we should be doing. So let's just look at the next 28 days. And then within that, we say, all right, what's the next 7 days look like? So we've got our 28-day plan. Now we look at the next week ahead. And I never like to jump into a week blind and say, all right, it's Monday. Let's see what happens this week. So I map out my workouts. I map out all my business stuff, my podcast interviews. Like, I get organized on the Thursday for the following week. And that way I walk into the week, all I have to do is execute. Yeah. And so many people struggle with that because they're trying to figure things out on the fly, and that never works. That's something that just doesn't work for us. So that's the next ring. Then the next ring towards the center is, all right, what's happening today? Is today a day that I'm training? Is today a meal prep day? Is today one of those danger zone days? There's a big work meeting that I'm stressing about that I may stress eat afterwards. Like, what is happening today? And then the very center of the bullseye is, what's the next correct decision that I need to make? Right? And that puts us into action, right? And that's where, when we talk about goal setting, that's what's lacking a lot of times, is we feel like we have to solve the issue and achieve all the results with one big decision. But really, it's like, what's that next decision? What's that little domino that, I don't know if you know about the physics of dominoes. I've recently learned this, but a domino can knock over the next domino that's twice its size. And that's the way I look at fitness, is what's the tiny little domino that we need to push over? We give that a little flick, and then it knocks over one twice its size. And that one knocks over one twice its size. Where does the momentum start? And that's how I got into, that's how I lost my 100 pounds was, all right, what's the first domino that I really need to flick over? And that was, I just need to decide to sweat every day. That was my goal. I didn't care how I did it. I didn't do biohacking. I was 327 pounds. I'm like, I don't want to weigh 327 pounds anymore. So I need to sweat every day. At least, just one drop of sweat needs to come off my body every single day. And that's going to be, me putting effort in the right direction. And then things spiral from there. But that was the first domino that got pushed over.
Yeah, I think domino effect, I use that a lot in my Life is Not a Race book, because that's kind of with us chronic stress and going so fast every day through your activities from morning to night. I think it's eventually you have something that just breaks, and then it's this whole domino effect within your body. So it's, your liver, your adrenals start, your hormones, your thyroid, your gut. I mean, it's then your brain. Memory, brain fog, all this stuff happens. So I think it is for individuals figuring out what is your one thing to work on, and not think, because I always kind of overwhelm people, because it's more for me saying, here's what I want us to work on, but then let's pick, look at my list and see what things resonate with you and your goals. And even like on Sunday night, I use Training Peaks with my clients and have them set 5 goals. What are some things you can work on? At least one, because some people, everyone's so different, what overwhelms them, and if they're too serious or too get hard on themselves, then they kind of give up, I think. So it's figuring out each person's personality and how they get motivated to figure out that psychology side of losing weight, I think, and making these huge changes from what they're eating to doing all that we ask them is, all right, what's that one thing, like you said, that's great.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head again there, Debbie, with like, we get inside of our heads, we do, as anybody that's trying to get healthy. It's so easy to do two big mistakes that we all see is, number one, we compare ourselves to other people. We go on Instagram and be like, oh my gosh, look at the abs on that guy. I'm working out hard, but I'm never going to be like that guy. And we beat ourselves up about it. But we also beat ourselves up against this perceived goal that we have. And we say, I'm not there yet. Yeah. And so maybe my goal was to lose 100 pounds. Maybe I've lost 70, but I'm not there yet because I'm not at 100 pounds. So we measure forward against that goal. And, it's Indiana right now and it's like 2 degrees and there's a lot of snow. So I'll use a snow plow analogy. So the goal is that snow plow that's clearing the way. But that plow keeps going. And so it's that horizon line that keeps moving forward. We're never truly there yet because, I'm sure you've had, like with your races, like you've hit a PR time. And then the next thing you want to do is set a new PR time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So same thing happens with weight loss. Same thing happens with body transformation. It's we hit that and then we go, okay, I celebrated that for 1 microsecond. And now the next goal, and guess what? I'm not there yet. And we beat ourselves up about that. So I always recommend to people, no matter what you're trying to achieve, is when you are in that moment of measurement, don't measure from where you're at now to where you want to be. Turn around and measure how far you've come and actually celebrate that. Like, be legitimately excited about that. And whether it's weight loss or like financial goals, like I recently just paid off my mortgage and I was like, that was one of my goals. I want to pay off my mortgage in my 30s. And I have been celebrating that for like 6 months, Debbie. I'm like, every time I walk into my podcast layer here in the basement and I'm like, oh my God, this is paid for. This is awesome.
That's
and it's not like, oh, but I'm not retired yet. I don't say that. I'm like, you have to sit and celebrate. And I feel like that's something that not a lot of people do. So if you guys have like one takeaway from this conversation is, once Debbie and I are done talking here, I want you to set the timer on your iPhone for 60 seconds and just be proud of yourself for 60 seconds and just see where that takes you.
That's great. I know, it's amazing what you can do in a minute. We did that on my Ben Greenfield. We did this Keon Coach program last 6 months. And one day we did this, take 1 minute, everyone stop and just close your eyes and breathe. And it was so amazing how relaxed you feel, because you don't realize you're like rushing from work. I'm going to this appointment. I'm going to my car. And then it's just like, stop 1 minute, just nasal breathing, sit, stand wherever you are and just stop and focus on breathing into your belly, into your rib cage. And it's like, okay, I'm okay. I can do this. But I think we take on so much, we get overwhelmed. And so when you're starting a transformation program, I think you have to set those big goals, but then have your little goals, like you're saying, every week. Know what your week ahead. And I have to do that too. I have everything organized. So if like a client someone asked me to do something the day of, I'm like, no, I got it in my head what my whole day is. You're going to throw me off. So I plan everything, the day before. I know what I'm doing. And I think exercise wise, it's a great way to get people to move. I don't know what worked for you to get yourself sweating every day, but I find you have to make an appointment on your calendar that this is my time. No one's interrupting this time. It's sacred. No one's coming in, and I'm not canceling that. So what do you do to get yourself sweating every day?
Well, I just want to add to your point a little bit before we even dive into that, because I feel like that's so important, is that if we don't own our schedule, someone else will, and they're not going to take as good a care of it as we will, So, and that allows us to show up with intention and with purpose and with focus, So if I have my workouts booked in advance, I'm showing up for that workout. We booked this recording in advance. I'm showing up for you. I'm not thinking about whatever else, I'm thinking about you, me and you right now. So thinking ahead, I tell people I'm working with that struggle with time management, I'm like, you can be that person that is always 10 minutes late to everything, or you can be the person that takes 10 minutes today and sets up tomorrow. Your choice.
That's great.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with me, with losing the weight, it was more about, showing up, doing the best that I could do that day, whether it's elliptical, strength training, whatever. I fell in love with strength training. I started competing in powerlifting, and that was my jam. I loved it. And that was the spiral that started to happen. I started to gain momentum, and momentum is momentum. So if you're in negative momentum right now, it's, the hardest thing to do is shift momentum from positive to negative or negative to positive. Once we get it going, it's just like we have to be in that moment again and realize, okay, things are going good. Let's keep stoking the fire. Let's keep it going strong. So I just started adding bells and whistles. But with me, it was showing. It was really the best movement for me. The best exercise for me was just showing up consistently and not being somebody that, I'm going to work out really hard because it's pre-spring break, and then I'm going to take a few months off, Debbie, and just see how it goes, and maybe you'll see me again in July or whatever. And you just can't be that person. Like I talk about, I created this thing. It's almost like a joke. I call it the amazing results formula, the amazing results formula. And it's 4 components. All right. Component 1, we have to be committed to a nutrition plan. Component number 2, we have to be committed to an exercise regimen. Component number 3, we have to think strategically. And by that, I mean, we need to understand what could potentially throw us off track. If we're a business person, what could put us out of business, basically. Yeah. And then component number 4 is do the first 3 consistently over time. If we do that, then we can do anything, whether it's running races or losing 100 pounds. Those are the 4 essential things, and we don't need to overcomplicate that.
Overcomplicate. I think that's what gets people thrown off. It's like, don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Yeah. It's not as hard as we make it up to be in our head. I think you get all this information. As you said, people listen to different podcasts and different books and Facebook, Instagram, whatever's out there. It's like, whoa, I don't know what to do. And that's why I think you need to hire a coach to let's figure out what works for you. But, it is just so much going on out there, and figuring out where to start is overwhelming. But like you said, pick one thing and start on there, and just like exercise, show up that day, put it in your schedule, what days you're working out this next week, stick with it and get it a habit. And then maybe add on the next layer or something. So maybe some people get overwhelmed doing, all right, I need to do these 10 things all at once and then quit because it's like, too much.
Exactly. And one of my favorite starting points is actually so I just did a phone call with one of my podcast listeners, and she kind of went through a whole big story of all the reasons that she's kind of had success and then lost her momentum. And I said, all right, let's start with, is there a pattern? Is there a thing? Is there a scenario that is your true transformation danger zone? Like, this thing happens and you regain your weight. And she goes, yeah, it's whenever I go on a vacation. I said, let's start there, and we can unpack our plan and work backwards from there. So we talked about vacations, and people freak out about the vacation where they're like, oh, I go on vacation and I gain weight. I'm like, I'm not so concerned about that specifically. What I'm concerned with is that you don't return to your workout regimen for 3 months after the vacation, and we pack on a lot of weight and we lose a lot of momentum. So I said, let's start our action plan there. And we say, all right, so the next vacation are these dates. What I want you to do is think about the pre-vacation, the during vacation, the post-vacation. The pre-vacation, we're ramping up. We're excited. That's the right mindset. I'm extra clean. I'm working out hard. I'm dialed in. She chose a paleo nutrition plan. I'm like, cool. That's awesome. And I said the incorrect thing, that the mistake people make pre-vacation is, I'm probably going to gain weight on vacation, so we might as well start the party early, Debbie.
Yeah.
So that's a mistake. So we ramp up pre-vacation, but the key step is before you leave is you have your game plan in place for post-vacation before you leave. So your personal training sessions are booked, your classes are booked, your coaching sessions are booked. You know what nutrition plan is going to happen. We map out that first week of, here's when I'm meal prepping. Here's where I'm going to get my groceries. I've ordered my click list at the local grocery store. That way you walk into the plan. So no matter what happens during the vacation, then the after vacation is taken care of. And that's the bigger portion of that danger zone. So by identifying the thing that always tended to trip her up, we create a game plan backwards out of that situation. And that's what I call escaping the black hole of fitness doom. And that's like my purpose, Debbie, where there's this scenario that I know that you see it and we've talked about it, where people start a new program, they get initial results, then life happens. They're not ready for it. That vacation moment happens, like the client I just gave an example of, and then they crash and burn and go back to where they started, and around and around and around. We just get beat down by it, and we lose, time, money, effort, but also hope, willpower. It gets harder mentally and physically. And people, I feel like people like you and I, we're on the same side of the battle lines. Where we're saying, this isn't normal. Like, this isn't the journey. Let us show you how to break free of this. And that's why we start podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're trying to help people on this. You guys, if you know podcasts, we actually pay to do this. We're doing this out of our own heart because we're passionate about helping and inspiring others. So we're both trying to create this impact in our world to help people transform their lives from the inside out with our different training techniques. So I think, if people are struggling, it's great to have, like, you have a group, a boot camp, and I have my 5-day jumpstart, and I did it with just gals, and it was amazing results when we had people that were similar together and had that aha moment. Someone told me this, that they related other people, they felt, okay, I'm overwhelmed or I'm stressed. I feel like I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to succeed. And then they realize other people are thinking the same thing, have the same fear. And then it's like, hey, I'm okay. I can do this. They're feeling the same way, the same struggle feeling. So I think it's helpful for a lot of people to have a boot camp transformation program as you do. And then my online programs I'm going to do more of. But tell us a little bit, like, what you've learned and what you're doing with your $1 Million Transformation boot camps.
Yeah. Well, one of the key things that you hit on there was, community and accountability.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are two things that are missing for a lot of people. They will do a video program and, they're doing the DVDs and they do the workout and they kind of stop doing the workout, or they read a book and then they stop reading the book. So having what I call accountability anchor points is key, because if and I've never climbed a mountain. You've probably climbed several mountains, but Debbie's way more adventurous than I am with her fitness. So, when you climb a mountain, from what I understand, you don't, to be safe, you need to anchor on as often as possible. Because if you slip, you just follow that next anchor. And that's the same thing with fitness. We want accountability. We want those anchors. We want that support system of coaches, peers, community members, spouse, friends. And that way, if we slip, we have that support net right there, ready to go. So with coaching, with community, with accountability, it's super important. That's something I just try to spice into anything that I have out there, because I know how important it was for me. And it's just being consistent with the fundamentals. So with the boot camp, we do, the nutrition stuff. We do the online workouts. We do Zoom chats and things like that. But it's just about moving you along in your transformation journey and kind of shining a light where I know people, and I know this too, is people are willing to put in the work. Like, people are willing to work hard, but they get beat down and frustrated by the process because they're just kind of randomly working hard.
Yeah.
And people like you and I, we try to kind of create that clarity and shorten that learning curve and say, okay, take that same amount of effort and just point it in this direction. And they start to see that momentum going, like, oh yeah. And then they start seeing other people. We surround them with other like-minded people, and then it's just magic. So it's what I love to do. I love to connect to people and help them out. And it's what I feel like, discovering your purpose and being able to express that purpose. It's unbelievable. And I know, as a fellow podcaster, how it's kind of weird because we kind of yell into the microphone and we hope that somebody hears it. Still to this day, like, I'm 3 years in and I just did my 200th episode, and I still, like, every time I get an email back from somebody or a DM on Instagram, and somebody somebody listened to the show. Yeah. Hooray! It's such a celebration moment for me, but because I feel like my purpose is being, put out there, being served. It's really nice.
So everyone, by the way, we like it when you call or text or something or send a message, because we're doing this because, as we said, we're passionate about it. We're trying to inspire you and create impact. And this is our purpose, but if we need to know people if we're helping you. So it's great to ask questions back to you and that you're reaching out or say, hey, I shared it with a friend or whatnot. So it's really good. You are creating impact in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels good. It's something that people like you and I we are privileged because, we're not out there like selling hot dogs. Like we are helping people change their lives. And like, I remember the first time I got an email, somebody was like, I listened to your show, and I'll give you an extreme example. There was a gentleman that sent me a really long Facebook message, and he was like, I was depressed, morbidly obese. And, a friend referred, he told me to listen to one of your interviews on another show, and he was considering suicide and he decided not to. And I was just like, holy cow, like how in the world, like it just blew me away that I was able to have that impact. I don't say that to brag. I was just like, it was just humbling. I was like, man, this is like, so that made me level up my game a little bit. I'm like, all right, people are actually listening to this, so I better shape up. So the energy like 10x'd itself. And, but just knowing, you guys out there listening, like Debbie said, it's important. Like if you guys have things that you want to communicate to us, reach out and let us know how we can help, because that's why we're doing this. I make several dollars a month off my show. Like, I think it's like I'm up to like $29 a month. So it's very lucrative. But the real compensation is the connection for me, and knowing that we're serving people. And if people like Debbie and I can reach our goals of helping people, the financial stuff takes care of itself.
Yeah. Yeah. No. How many shows do you do? Once a week, or when does your podcast come out?
Yeah, I've bounced around a little bit with Million Pound Mission. I've done as many as 3 episodes a week. Current version is, which is we're talking in January 2019, 2 shows a week. Monday, I do either an interview or kind of me going crazy about something. And then on Friday, I put out an interview, a one-on-one session that I do with one of my clients. We do these 15-minute hot seat sessions. So I record those and we put them out as an episode. So you get to hear it, kind of be a fly on the wall of me coaching somebody up, and we focus on one topic, go deep with it for 15 minutes. And it's pretty cool. So that's something new I've been trying. So Monday and Friday, Million Pound Mission.
You got the radio voice too. Million Pound Mission.
Yes, Debbie.
So if this doesn't work out, you can be a radio DJ host.
That's what I'm hoping.
Talk radio. Well, good. What are your goals for the year, and how are you going to keep improving and transforming your own self?
I am really psyched about diving deeper on ketogenic diet. I'm exploring that. I love to just try different things. So, I've gone deep with paleo, keto, even like I'm going to do a stretch of vegan experimentation. I want to try it all because I want to be able to just tell people like, I did that. Here's my experience. Here's what happened that was positive. Here's what happens, what was negative, and just relay that. So I love diving deep with that sort of thing. But then it's just with the business, it's about helping as many people as possible. Right now, like we're actually tracking the Million Pound Mission. I don't know if I told you this before, but people can go on the website, and if they hear this, they they get fired up about something, they lose 5 pounds, they can donate that to the Million Pound Mission. Right now, we're at 54,000 pounds and change of donated weight loss, which is pretty dang cool. And the goal is to try to push that over 100,000 this year and have 100,000 pounds of total impact, which that just fires me up, Debbie.
Yeah, you are on a mission, and I love to be involved and help you in any way. And, having you on the show more often would be great, and spread this energy out, because I think, it is that transformation program. We're both trying to help people, mine with the holistic method and working on different elements. And you just, you're getting more of that, your psychology part of it is so important. And I think that is essential to really making these lifestyle changes, and making it a habit is being motivated and being fired up and figuring out what works in your head and your mindset is so important. Yeah.
And one of the topics I love to talk about, and I know that, this might be one of those things that if you take away one thing from this chat, the difference between motivation and inspiration. So being motivated is kind of that have to. My doctor told me that I have to lose weight, and the inspiration is when we move to the want to. So if you're struggling, whether it's, training for marathons, training for triathlons, if it's losing weight, maybe you have to move from being motivated to being truly inspired by your goals. So that might be a good place to wrap it up there.
Yeah.
The end point.
The end point, and have that on a future episode. So thank you so much, Adam. And where can everyone find you? Let's give your links, and we'll put everything in the show notes.
Yeah, if you guys just head on over to millionpoundmission.com, that's where you can find all my stuff, or just search Million Pound Mission on Instagram. Again, reach out. I'd love to connect with you. And I look forward to just chatting with you guys. Now, as a favor to me, if you guys enjoyed this episode, I want you to go onto iTunes and leave a review for Debbie. It's super important. That's the way that you can put a tip in the tip jar of the podcaster. Yes. Mention the PhD episode, Previously Heavy Dude with Adam, and tell her that was your favorite one, so she has me back on the show.
And then go download your podcast. Yes, we definitely appreciate your reviews and on iTunes, because I realized when I started back in 2011 with John Smith, we did Fit Fat Fast for a couple years, and he had to quit. We had to restart it because we had to find a new name for it. And the amount, I was trying to look up how many health and fitness podcasts are out there. There's hundreds. And then I typed in triathlon podcasts, and then there's so many. So only way people can actually find us is through referral and or people get tons of review. But it's crazy how many podcasts, which is great. Yeah. And it's a good way to learn, not to get too much mixed information overwhelm you though.
Yeah, exactly.
Inspired.
Exactly.
So thank you, Adam. We'll talk to you soon. And you guys reach out and listen to his podcast and look at his website. We'll put everything in the show notes. And if you have any questions for me, just go to the Whole Athlete Podcast Facebook page or Instagram.
Thanks for listening to the Whole Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at wholeathletepodcast.com. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.